We're thinking, hey, we are live. Hey, folks, thanks for tuning into the BAF podcast. This is our special YouTube only feature, the Pick of the Week chat, where we get together and it's short, it's fun, it's fast. We talk about what we're into right now. And we got a whole bunch of guys. Our frequent guest, we haven't seen him in a while, is John Gibbons from the UK. How you doing, John?
How are we doing, guys? I'm doing well.
Glad to have
John.
you. And that is Walt Rebelliard. He just joined us, which tips the advantage in the Americans. We're now 3-2. Before John showed up, before Walt showed up, it was 2-2 because Aid Smith is joining us today, also from the UK. How you doing, Aid?
Hello, not too bad, apart from a bloody annoying cough.
Well, very nice to have you back again. It's been a while since we've talked to you.
Oh yeah, I've been sleeping a lot, to be honest. It's not good.
It's all right. I love to sleep myself. It's one of my favorite things. Probably my top 3 favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Sleep is good.
And that is Jacob Blackman. How you doing, Jacob?
Hello, doing well today.
All right, cool. Glad to hear it. All right, we're going to talk about what we're into right now. Since Jacob, you talked last, you get to talk first. What are you into right now?
The thing I wanted to bring up that I'm really enjoying right now is the continuation of Matt Wagner's Mage series. For those who are not familiar with it, in 1984, Matt Wagner started a series called Mage, which was about our protagonist Kevin Matchstick discovering that he is the modern day incarnation of King Arthur, and he is as such he has duty bound to protect humanity from the forces of evil and monsters that are trying to destroy it. There was a second series in the mid-90s, and this third series, The Hero Denied, is a continuation of that. He now has a family, and monsters have caught up to him after a decade of silence, and he is now trying to get his family to safety by taking out as many monsters as he can over here while his family is escaping to safety over here. And that's basically where the series is now. And so far it's been a pretty good read, a good continuation of the previous series, and I highly recommend it.
All right, cool. Good to hear. So, Aid, what do you have going on?
Okay, so as I explained before, my monthly comics parcel doesn't arrive till next week, so there's a couple of interesting news stories that have been floating around that I'm actually looking forward to that have circled this month. The first one being, well, two of them are kind of minor, one of them is quite interesting. The first one being, obviously, the return of Superman's red trunks in Action Comics 1000. Thank you, God. Superman looks like Superman again. So that will be very cool. I'm dubious to see. It's a Jim Lee cover on the front of the issue with him in his proper costume. Whether or not that's just purely a celebratory costume picture and he will not retain them afterwards, or whether or not that is his new get-up, as of yet we do not know. But on a similar vein, we have Batman regaining his yellow circle on his chest as of Doomsday Clock 2, which actually got picked up this week. If there's a discussion between him and Rorschach in the issue, and it wasn't until this week it said, "Oh look, Christ, his costume is completely different from what it is now," so that's coming back as well. So that's rather cool. And the third one being apparently somebody has been recoloring the Frank Miller covers for Unity, the old Valiant Comics crossover. So there may be a Valiant Comics hardcover coming out of the original Unity series. And what this means for Magnus and Turok and Solar coming back to Valiant, or something else going on. They've just got the license to do their old stuff. I don't know, but I will definitely be picking it up because it's been a long time since I read that series.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good news. Hey, are you still reading Future Quest?
I am still reading Future Quest. I am on issue 3 or 4, the one with the trio in it. That's the last one I picked up.
Ah, you're actually a little behind. The issue I just picked up is dealing with the new Birdman story.
No, definitely not got that. Yeah, no, I'll probably end up getting 2 this next week coming. I did pick up the Barbarella comic last week on my last parcel, which is pretty damn cool.
Okay.
Barbarella?
Barbarella, yeah. It's a new...
Is that on the top shelf?
It's funny. It's. I think it's Mike. I want to say it's Mike Carey writing it. I could be wrong. Let me double check. It's right here. It is Mike Carey and a guy called Keenan Ura. And it definitely has a European feel to it. Let's just say that it's not Marvel, but it's not quite heavy metal, but it has a European feel to it. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It makes me want to go and buy the originals because I think it's pretty decent. And as much as I love the movie, I thought, well, give the comic a try. And it's pretty damn good.
I've never actually seen the movie all the way through.
What? It's brilliant.
Aid, I have to say, you are the first person I have ever heard say they enjoyed the Barbarella movie.
I love the Barbarella movie.
Well,
I have it on Blu-ray and DVD because it's that good.
When I was a young lad, I enjoyed it for different reasons. So probably what it was.
Well, Jane Fonda.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad as that one with Sean Connery. What was that one called?
Zardoz.
Zardoz.
That's the one. That's
the best cosplay ever.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Alrighty. Well, hey, John, since you're talking, what's your thing right now?
Okay, so I'm currently working my way through a number of collected editions, some trade paperbacks of a number of series, which I've recently got into. Descender by Image Comics. Okay, very cool. I'm up to about the trade paperback 3, so that probably puts me at about issue 15 or something on those lines. Really cool. I'm going to try and pronounce the names correctly now. Jeff Lemire is the writer. I think that's right. And Dustin Nguyen is the artist. It's a very... Nguyen, is it?
Nguyen.
Right, oh, Nguyen. Okay. Very kind of interesting artwork. Watercolor, very sketchy. Not a huge amount of detail, but lovely to read. And an interesting sort of future world concept set in the far future where basically humanity and various other alien species occupy the galaxy, and then all of a sudden these huge sort of planet destroying robots turn up, destroy most of humanity and then disappear. The survivors then have a major purge against androids and robots in the galaxy. And the story basically follows a young robot, a companion robot, and he struggled to survive in the galaxy, hunted by bounty hunters. It's got a little bit of a feel of ABC Warriors, the way the robots are. Yeah, you know, that kind of like sort of anti-human sort of feel about them. But I'm really enjoying it. It's a nice story, flows really well. And yeah, it's very good. I would highly recommend it.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, second thing I'm into at the moment, which I don't know if you talked about before. I think you mentioned, Mike, that that Walt loves it, and that's Southern Bastards. Yeah. So I've only picked up the first hardback, which I think is the first 8 comics. But again, great story. Yeah, it's about American football, which I don't know much about, but you don't need to know about American football to enjoy the book. Nice hardcore book, lots of violence, lots of interesting characters. And it's interesting because the guys who you think are bad guys, halfway through, the story comes from their point of view, and you kind of think, well, are they the bad guys? You know, it's one of those tough Southern American towns with the underworld run by the American football coach. Highly recommended. And I believe they're going to make a movie out of it, or a TV series.
Really?
Okay.
So I've heard.
There goes my Friday nights.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm looking through at the moment.
Oh, all right. Well, thanks. Walt, how about you? What are you into right now?
So much, so little time. Obviously, when I'm spending so much time sleeping. Piggybacking on some of Aid's thunder. This week, Secret Weapons #0 I picked up. If you haven't read the original series, Secret Weapons deals with one of the main characters in the Valiant universe, Livewire, and her helping out a group of empowered people that they call psiots. These are people with like superhuman psionic abilities. If you guys hear anything weird or growling, there's no werewolf in my house. It's just a giant German Shepherd. The Zero issue actually is really interesting because it goes into the way that the different power groups in the Valiant universe recruit and activate these psiots, and kind of like what it's like when your psionic ability is kind of lame, which is the whole point of the series of Secret Weapons. It was about weaponizing these people with lame powers for a very nefarious reason. But the original series, it was amazing. The comics, if you're going to get them, pick them up in hard format, because the quality of the paper, the look, the feel of the covers is amazing. But Secret Weapons Zero is cool because it centers on one of the characters from the original story, and it goes into the pain and process of what it takes to activate these powers, and kind of like the what gets left in its wake. So that's my pick for the week.
Okay, cool.
Mike,
huh?
I was going to say, what's your pick? Other than a new cat.
Well, just got a new cat. I read a really weird book. I'm not sure if I like it. It's sort of trying to be a new horror anthology. It kind of feels like they're sort of trying to be a new Tales from the Crypt. Image Comics Ice Cream Man. And instead of a Crypt Keeper or Rod Serling, you've got this guy in 1950s Ice Cream Man outfit. And he kind of is the narrator / werewolf cameo.
Why not?
Yeah. Well, he starts out, he gives a fat kid an ice cream cone, and then the fat kid goes home, and you realize he has a poisonous spider who killed his parents. And then, like, two-thirds of the way through the story, you see this guy in the Ice Cream Man uniform torn up, and he's a werewolf, and then he changes back into human. He's like, oh, it's the cops, the social workers, and he's like, oh, hi, how are you? I'm going to go over here now. And there wasn't.
Are you sure this wasn't a weird dream, Mike?
I wish it had been. It's not a bad comic. It just I'm going to need a few more issues before I know this is an anthology I want to stick with. But yeah, it just came out last week. Ice Cream Man, Image Comics. Hang on, I'm looking at Comixology right now. Let's see who the writer and artist were. Written by W. Maxwell Prince, art by Martin Morazzo. So no one I've heard of before. But yeah, it was interesting. I'm not sure if I like it, but I'm going to hang out for a while and see what happens. Since that was kind of a lame pick, Doctor Strange this month was sort of fun. If you're not keeping up, Loki has become the Sorcerer Supreme. And in this issue, Doctor Strange has had enough of that, and somehow he's stolen powerful magic from Asgard, and he takes it to Loki. And it's you don't see this often in Doctor Strange comics, but pretty much the whole issue is magical combat. Across different dimensions.
Brightly colored hexagons and shapes across the pages.
Yeah, and there's a really funny bit where, the way they're writing Doctor Strange now, the idea is every piece of magic, every ward, spell, hex has a price, and the price is usually excruciating pain. And unbeknownst to Strange, the way it was being paid for was there was a monastery full of monks in the Himalayas that his sidekick had organized, and those were the guys who were taking all the pain for Doctor Strange. And Strange found out and was very upset, and it was a whole plot line. But they do a cut to that same monastery in this issue where he's fighting with Loki. And Loki's like, my God, all this power, how are you paying for it? So he cut this monastery in the Himalayas, and there's the Sentry, who is Superman in the Marvel Universe. And Wong is there like, are you sure you can handle all this pain? This is incredible. This would have killed 5 grown men. And Sentry's like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to get a nap.
I didn't even know Sentry was still around anymore.
I thought he died like 3 times. I thought there was a mini series all about his funeral and about he and Ben.
The last time I remember Sentry was the Avengers issue where he tore Carnage in half.
Yeah, I thought
he went off the raft. That's the last time I even remember him being acknowledged. So I don't know how. Yeah, very strange.
With the Marvel Universe, I just figure everyone is dead and alive at the same time when I open a comic book. It's like Schrodinger's cat. Yeah. You don't know who's alive till you look inside. So
or a multiple version of another character. It's like, hey, it's 9 Wolverines running around now, but get more Wolverines in quickly.
Yeah, there's old man Logan, there's middle-aged Logan, there's prepubescent Logan, there's
Logan. Baby Logan I want to see.
There is a Baby Logan coming. There is a little chibi style Logan coming in the new Exiles comic.
You know, I was going to make a joke about that just to be sarcastic and nasty, but they're making the thing I was going to make a stupid joke about. So
yeah, that's it. The new Exiles. It's got a Valkyrie that looks very, very similar to the one from the movies, if not the one from the movies. Blink, a chibi Logan, and I want to say Iron Lad.
Oh yeah. And
does no one remember the X Babies from Mojoverse?
Oh, of course, yeah, the X Babies, yeah.
There's already a Baby Logan.
That's true.
Oh my God.
There's always a Baby Logan somewhere.
Yeah. Talking about magic cards, has anyone been checking out the new Constantine by Ming Doyle?
I haven't. How is it?
Not too bad.
Okay.
It's I've got the first 2 trade packs because I was always a big Hellblazer fan, you know, back in the Ennis days, and it's okay. It's not too bad. It seems to be quite a few different guest artists, and you know, when you get different artists doing different comics, you know, sometimes some are stronger than others. So sometimes the artwork gets a bit flaky and it spoils the writing a little bit. But yeah, it's quite good. It's got him set. He's now lives in New York, and you know, his personality is pretty much the same. You know, like a selfish bastard, like he always was. But I'm enjoying it. It's been pretty good.
Is that the Rebirth series or the New 52 series?
It's the Rebirth series, not the New 52.
With the one with the gin in it.
It's the one where he looks like he's wearing jumpers.
What?
Yeah, the way he looks like he's skinny, America, New York, looks like he's wearing jumpers. He's bisexual. Does that sound like the New 52? Or does it sound like the other one?
I can't remember. I'd say I dropped both series after
Sounds
about
like
5 or 6 issues of each one.
Reboot.
I'm trying to. I can't see. I've got it in front of me here, but I don't. It's not got any New 52 label on it anywhere. So I'm presuming it must be. It's got to be the Rebirth. Has to be. No, I've no idea. I've no idea. No, actually, it is the New 52.
Aha.
It is, because there's an advert on the back for the Rebirth. Is that the original Sins? Is that part of the Rebirth?
Might be. I'm not too sure. It got very confusing.
Yeah. Well, this then must be a New 52, but it's pretty cool. It's all right. The artwork's nice in places. The storylines are pretty cool. It's very much kind of like Swamp Thing's turned up a couple of times. Dead Man's turned up a couple of times. But no other sort of supers have turned up, which is a good thing, because I never thought Constantine suits be in the world where you've got Superman and Batman and people like that. It always seemed a bit odd to me.
The only time I ever I didn't mind him existing in this universe, but I always found it better when in Hellblazer there wasn't this, like, England was like this backwater that didn't have many supers in it, so we just kind of got on with it. But when they did Sandman and Constantine was in the Sandman issue, and then about 2 issues later, like, had Mr. Miracle and Superman in it, that worked perfectly fine. That was a good link to say, hey, they do exist. So.
Yeah, it just becomes very strange because, you know, your Constantine storylines are very much based around the supernatural, and yet most superhero comics aren't. You know what I mean? It's all around superpowers. It's very rare the supernatural element comes into it. You know, God and devils and demons and stuff. Rarely. I mean, you talked about Doctor Strange, which tends to be more around kind of like dimensional beings and such, doesn't it? Really. But the Constantine, you know, world is definitely around the sort of, you know, typical sort of historical demons and Christianity and religions, etc., and ghosts and vampires, and it just doesn't seem to sort of merge very well with when they try and put other superheroes as such into it.
There was a really good issue, I can't remember, I think it was in the old Hellblazer series, which was struck me as very memorable, where there was something like the bad guys needed to get this massive influx of energy, and I swear they traveled through time, and they were going to do it, and they said, okay, right, if they get this massive positive energy, they can do this really bad thing. And it's okay, what's going to happen? Well, it's the 1966 World Cup and England are about to win. It's, oh my God, this is terrible. So, yeah, that was cool.
I'm enjoying it. It's good. It's good. You know, I've got the first 2 volumes. I probably will get the 3rd volume. Like I say, sometimes you open it and a couple of the comics have been drawn by a different artist, and it just doesn't kind of link very well, and you know the art can be a bit flaky. But most of the art is done by Riley Rosmo. I don't know much about him or her. But yeah, it's nice story. All supernatural elements. Him versus demons, going down to hell, getting out of hell, making deals with people, breaking deals, and generally being the usual sarcastic, unpleasant person that Hellblazer is. You know.
Does it seem like it's Constantine when it's in New York? Because I mean, London was always a big part of that.
Yeah, it does actually. He's kind of, you know, he's definitely an Englishman in New York, if you know what I mean, without a doubt. You know, he's dressed, like I say, it looks like he's got a pair of jumpers on. He's still got the shirt and the tie, the long trench coat, but they've given him kind of like mid-calf, kind of like combat boots and black tucked-in combat pants. But it's kind of like a sort of skinny guy, smokes all the time, which is pretty good to see, obviously, because you know that's the character. But yeah, no, it still comes across very much as this sort of strange, lonely, odd English guy in America who's basically into the supernatural, who goes around shafting people, basically, because that's what he does, doesn't he? You know.
Yeah, that's basically the character. So all right, cool. I'll have to give that a check too.
Yeah.
And you know, hey, this is the Short, Fast, and Fun podcast. I think we have it's been fast and fun. I think we're straining the credibility of calling it short here. So anybody got any closing thoughts before I wrap it up?
I think we're good.
If you're not watching Star Trek Discovery, go and watch it. There you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Aid works for Star Trek Adventures, so there's.
It's been really good since it's been returned. It's got even better, in my opinion. So.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
They're swearing in Star Trek. It's amazing.
Yeah, I did like that. Like that. Oh, that put me right off.
You guys been watching the Orville?
No.
Oh yes. Oh, so good.
Yeah, I gotta say the Orville has been the best Star Trek I've watched in years. Well, I haven't seen Discovery because I haven't subscribed to whatever CBS streaming service there is. But
I gotta agree with you, Mike. I've enjoyed Orville quite a bit.
I think I watched the first one.
I've seen one of them about 5 episodes in. It's like, that's okay, but it's almost trying too hard to be Star Trek, and it's not. So don't even think about it.
Just don't try, man. Don't try.
Godless.
You know,
no, nothing to do with superheroes or anything, but Godless. That was a classic series and a half.
Hey, I should do a quick shout out. A friend of the podcast, Dan Taylor, who did Hero Happy Hour. If you ever heard about that, he had the honor of getting a C&D letter from Marvel and DC Comics at the same time for his use of the word superhero. He has a podcast, Planetary. It's Planetary Unified Network, I think, where he's interviewed like a lot of actors and writers from the Orville. You can find it on Podbean. It's a great one to check out. So, hey, cross podcast promotion. We do it. So, all right. And we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Thanks to everybody. And we will catch you next time on the Banff Podcast.